Hey, principals. Welcome to Principals on the Come Up one more time, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. So, this is a time of year where our teachers are getting ready for their interviews, and they are so nervous, principals. I did receive a message from several teachers who said that they know everything, they know how to answer the questions, but they just become so nervous until their brain just freezes on them. So today, what we're gonna focus our attention on our teachers. I remember when I was preparing to pass my driver's test. Okay, so my brother was the one who was teaching me how to drive, and sometimes he would say, "Girl, you're driving too fast." Then he would say, "What do you think we're? We think we're in a parade? Why are you driving so slow?" Well, I was nervous. I was nervous to think about having that DPS officer sit in that front seat and just tell me, whether I had passed the test or not. That was just one of those things. I passed the test. The part of the test with all of the questions. I passed all of that, but it was that driving test that just really, really made me nervous. And that's the same thing that happens to our teachers. They have their degrees. Some of them have gone through the alternative certification program. They have been in the classroom for a year, but now that it's time for them to interview for a position, then they are very, very nervous. And they want to prepare the same way they prepare for everything else. So let's look at some of the questions that our teachers, just may be concerned about. But the first thing, before we even talk about that, let's address their nervousness. So I'm going to talk to the teachers now. Teachers, be prepared. Prepare yourself thoroughly. And what we're going to go through this morning is certainly going to help you prepare for the questions that you're going to have in the interview. Focus on breathing and relaxation techniques. These exercises, they help to calm you down and shift your mindset. Okay, don't think that, they are so high in the sky and you way down here, and they're going to be asking you some quick trick questions. Just know that you're here to show them what you know. And this is just no big deal. See yourself as getting the job that you really want, because, now you have a choice as to where you want to teach. And some of you have been to places where you wanted to teach and you did not get the jobs, and you are at an alternative site, but you still need to act as if you have already received that job offer. And then practice mindfulness. Incorporate mindfulness techniques into your interview. Stay grounded, and then everything is going to be all right. Okay, so let's go with the first question. They're going to ask you, tell us about your background in education and what motivates you to teach. Well, you are not going to give them your resume. They have your resume in front of them. They want to know something about you. You let them know that you came from a family of educators, or you're the first person in your family to ever graduate, and you've always wanted to teach school since you were 8 years old, with your brothers and sisters. And that you have been involved with education ever since you were in high school. Or if you are the alternative certification program, you decided that this is the place for you, and this is the kind of profession that you want to have for the rest of your life, because you realize, how important it is. Question number 2, how do you plan to build relationships with students, especially those from diverse backgrounds? Now, let me address this right now. For some of you, you are going to go into rural schools. It may be a school that you graduated from, or you're going to be going into an urban school. It'll be a school that you knew nothing about before you started to do the research for this interview. The next thing is that some of you are going to be going into environments where the majority of the teaching staff, the administrative staff, and the students do not look like you. So I'm telling you that these administrators, these central office people, they're looking for teachers who are going to add to the environment. and they are concerned about fairness, and that's something that you need to be concerned about when you are answering those questions. So realize where you are, realize who your interviewers are. It's like, know who you're talking to. So what you're going to tell them is that building relationships with students is the foundation of your philosophy. Building relationships is the foundation of philosophy. And you're going to talk about addressing their learning styles. You're going to address their unique backgrounds. You're going to address their particular interests. Number 3, what strategies do you use to create an inclusive classroom environment where all students feel welcome and supported? The next most critical thing is when you answer the question, you're going to answer the question the same way they gave you the question. You're going to say, I believe creating a classroom culture that celebrates the differentness of students. In some states, you can't even say diversity, but the unique interests of students. You're going to include those students. You're going to establish clear expectations, and you are going to demand respectful behavior, and that you are going to make sure that all students' voices are heard, and that you are going to model empathy and acceptance of your interactions with your students. Number 4, how do you handle difficult student discipline, especially in culturally diverse communities? So you know that if you are going to be in your urban environment, that pretty much they have all types of discipline plans in place, but they want to know how you're going to handle it. So you are going to address those difficult problems that are going to require empathy. I'm going to feel for them. I'm going to be consistent. If we have established these rules in our classroom, then these are the rules that we are going to follow. And you're going to use restorative practices. And you're going to tell them, I believe by taking these kind of proactive approaches, it's going to result in positive behavior. And that's it. You don't have to go into depth and try to explain unless they ask you for further explanation. Number 6, describe a time when you had to adapt your teaching approach to meet the needs of diverse learners. So now they've moved from discipline to how you are going to do your instruction in the classroom. So you're going to give them example, maybe with your previous experience, or some of you had some teaching experience because you were under the alternative certification program. You may tell them something that happened to you with your ELL student. You may have found that there were some things that you incorporated in your ELL instruction, where you incorporated visual aids, where you had hands-on activities, differentiated instruction techniques. You don't have to give them the specific names of the techniques that you use. You just want to give an overview of the kinds of things that you would use to address the needs of your diverse learners. Number 7, how do you differentiate instruction to meet the diverse needs of students? You are going to say, of course, I believe in providing multiple pathways, multiple ways to accommodate children, to accommodate students in the classroom that have diverse needs. You're going to tell them that you're going to differentiate your instruction. You're going to use a variety of instructional strategies. You're going to incorporate technology. You're going to provide scaffolding and support to offer students the opportunity to excel. And that's it. You don't have to go any further than that. Number 8, what is your approach to collaborating with colleagues and parents to support student success? You're going to say, I'm going to, again, give right back the way they gave to you. I'm going to collaborate things that are going to provide essential success for the students. You're going to prioritize building relationships. You're going to prioritize building relationships not only with students, but you're going to prioritize building relationships with your colleagues and also your parents, because you believe that communication active listening, and shared commitment to student growth is how students are going to achieve. And say that. Say that. Be very specific, be very simple, get straight to the point. Don't ramble, don't waste their time. You don't want to waste your time by just rambling on. The next question, how do you integrate technology into your teaching practice to enhance student learning? Now, you are going to say, I view technology as a powerful tool, which it is, for enhancing student learning and engagement. You tell them, I'm going to incorporate technology in my teaching practice by using interactive whiteboards. You be specific. Using educational apps. You're going to have multimedia presentations. And you said, well, and I'm going to have, and I have done visual field trips. And that's going to provide students the opportunity to also create some digital products. And we're going to do some collaboration online. So you may say, well, I'm interviewing for pre-K. Well, then you answer accordingly to your technology questions and the level of technology that you're going to use with your pre-K, K1 through 2 students. These young people now, there are digital warriors. So you can come up with lots of things that you could allude to using technology with those students. All right, number 10, describe a time when you had to handle a challenging parent-teacher interaction. How did you approach it? In some of our environments, we have more opportunities to do this than we have in others. In other environments, these kinds of challenging interactions sometimes take on a different meaning. So you're going to tell them, in my previous role, I encountered a challenging parent-teacher interaction regarding a student's academic performance. Now, let me give you one little trick. You can make this up, okay? But you have to prepare for it. You can, if you have not experienced any kind of challenging behaviors, you can make it up. You can think about a challenging behavior that one of teachers that it could be a challenging behavior that came out well that you and your child's teacher had to handle. So the parent, you tell them that the parent was concerned about their child's progress, and they expressed frustration in the meeting. Now, those frustrations can come in all sizes, shapes, and colors. But you're going to tell them, I approached that situation with empathy. I listened, and I focused on the solution. And I acknowledged the parents' concerns. I shared the student data. I shared the observations, and we collaboratively came up with the plan. All right, that's how we go. So how are we going? How are we going so far? Okay, so I think this is going to make many of you feel comfortable, get you to anticipate the kinds of questions that your principal or your central office administrator will ask you. Let's move on. Number 11. What do you believe is the role of assessment in teaching and learning? Assessment plays a crucial role in teaching and learning by processing valuable feedback. That's going to inform your instruction. That's going to measure your student progress. You say that I believe using a variety of formative and summative assessments that are going to gauge the student's understanding. And it's also going to help me in my teaching. Good. Let's move on. Number 12. How do you incorporate culturally responsive teaching practices in your instruction? You're going to say culturally responsive teaching is essential for creating an inclusive classroom environment where all students feel valued and represented. You incorporate culturally relevant materials, perspectives, examples into your curriculum because you believe that all children should be treated fairly. All right, let's go on to number 13. How do you handle situations where students exhibit biased or discriminatory behavior toward their peers. Remember, I told you, you need to know who you're talking to. You need to know the school where you are going to work, where you have planned to work. That's right. So you are going to tell them addressing bias or discriminatory behaviors requires a proactive, sensitive approach. And you are going to tell them that you are going to prioritize fostering a culture in your classroom of respect, of empathy, and understanding, where all students feel valued. That's it. Don't get scared of that question. That's the answer to that question, and then you just move on. Number 14, describe your approach to building a classroom community where all students feel a sense of belonging and acceptance. Again, the same type of question. You're going to build a classroom community that's founded on creating a positive learning environment. You're going to do team building. You're going to do cooperative learning experiences. You're going to do community building rituals to create a sense of belonging. So that way you will cover everybody in your classroom, and that will also address the stakeholders in the community. Number 15, how do you differentiate instruction to meet the needs of students with diverse learning styles and abilities? If you don't know the answer to this question, you need to study. Here's your answer. I believe in providing differentiated instruction to meet the diverse needs of all learners in my classroom. You know, you've done that when you passed your certification test. You use a variety of instructional strategies, materials, assessments to accommodate the different learning styles. And that's what you do, and you move on. Number 16, what role do you believe student voice and choice should play in the learning process? Student voice and choice, here's your answer, are essential for fostering student engagement, for their motivation, and for their ownership of learning in the classroom. You say, I believe in providing students with opportunities to express their interests. I believe in giving children the opportunity to make choices. That's how we get buy-in. That's it. That's all you have to do. Number 17, how do you handle conflicts or disagreements among students in your classroom? Here is the answer. Handling conflicts or disagreements among students requires a balanced approach that promotes empathy. You're doing the same thing again, communication, and problem-solving skills. You're going to facilitate this disagreement through open dialogue, through active listening, and through mediation. And that's going to help solve the conflict peacefully and constructively in your classroom. All right, we're moving on. We got 20 and we're on number 18. Okay. All right. Can you provide an example of a time when you successfully differentiated instruction for a diverse group of learners? We're going back to instruction. In a previous teaching experience, I had a classroom with a wide range of learning needs and abilities. You either make this up, it could be a true experience, it could be an experience that you observed from afar, but talking to another colleague, or when you were in class and this was part of a study that you did. You can include that. I provided personalized learning pathways. I offered differing kinds of assignments, a choice of assignments. They could have done, they did projects. Some of the students did drawing, all types of things to show that the students were engaged, they participated, and the academic growth among all the students was successful. There you go. There you go. Number 19, we're getting to the end. How do you establish rapport and communicate effectively with parents and families from diverse cultural backgrounds? You establish, first of all, that you understand that a strong partnership with parents and families is essential to support the student's success. So I'm going to prioritize building trust, respect, open communication with my parents from diverse backgrounds. I will make an effort to honor their cultural values and their beliefs, and communicate through them with their preferences. All right, number 20. What strategies do you use to engage students who may be disengaged or reluctant learners? Your answer is engaging disengaged or reluctant learners requires creativity, empathy, and perseverance. Creativity, empathy, and perseverance. I begin by getting to know each of the students on a personal level, understanding their interests, their strengths, their challenges. You incorporate hands-on activities, real-world connections. You give them a choice of autonomy when necessary. So by creating this, you have a supportive environment and you're including all of your learners. Now, that was one question that one teacher asked me that she has been asked during an interview process. And her question is when it was about school-wide discipline management, and they wanted to know how she would support a school-wide discipline management question. How would she support school-wide discipline management? So the first thing you want to do when you're talking about a school-wide discipline management, and I know this sounds more like a leadership question as far as administration is concerned, but it could be one that they may ask you if you are in a certain environment. You're going to acknowledge key components. You're going to outline the components of your discipline plan. If you're on a committee, this is what you do. You outline the components of your plan. You're going to highlight your approach. You're going to talk about how we are going to handle this discipline management program, and make sure you emphasize collaboration, communication, and being proactive. And the third, you're going to provide concrete examples. You're going to offer specific examples of interactive programs that you have managed before. And you're going to tell them about implementing restorative practices, PBIS, or any other type of plan that you have used in the past. You're going to demonstrate flexibility in the plan, and you are going to express commitment to fairness in the plan, because you know that lots of times we have these plans on paper, but we don't express our commitment to it, or we don't talk about the fairness that we have to have in these management programs. Now, the last thing I want to tell you, and this is, I'm done with the questions. When you do go on these campuses, how to interact with other teachers on the campus, and this is very, very important. This is going to separate the men from the boys and the girls from the big girls. Okay, when you get there, you're going to be cordial. You have to be sensitive enough to recognize dissent and move away from it. You have to be aware of campus gossip. You are a listener, not a talker. That's why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen. Volunteer for assignments. That will give you an opportunity to learn from the best that's on your campus. And you're going to follow directions from your department leader, not something that you heard in the wind. You're going to take directions from your department leader. Okay, before we go, let's check to see if we have any questions in the chat. Okay, so those are our questions, principals, for our teachers. And of course, principals, you can use those questions for your interview process if you like as well. But I want to make sure that our teachers are prepared when they are going in for their interviewing process. We have so many excellent teachers out there. We know that our teachers are not going to be perfect. We're not perfect. But at least these kinds of questions will tell us where we need to work, where we need to spend our time with these teachers to get them to grow. Remember, growing teachers takes 1 to 5 years. Think about you, 1 to 5 years. We find out where they excel, And then we support them in places and areas that they need to improve through professional development and through working with your teachers on campus, through your professional learning communities and what have you. So those are the interview questions for our new teachers as we prepare for the upcoming school year. And when you answer all these questions and you get these excellent teachers, you end up with a school that will be a hallelujah success story. We'll see you next time. Principals on the Come Up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. See you next time.